Good evening, I'm Callow.
And I'm Spencer Harvey.
Welcome to the final episode of Epic Sports. This evening we'll be previewing tonight's basketball game against Berea College while keeping you informed on everything Asbury athletics.
Each show we like to feature an athlete who has had a great performance or a profound story. This week our producer Maddie Heineman sat down with Haley Southerland. The women's basketball player had a complicated journey. Her dad, God, music, and basketball have changed her life. We want to warn anyone watching that there is talk about sexual abuse.
My dad saved me by, being the parent I never had and pointing me towards God and who He is. And God saves me every day. My name's Haley Southerland and I play basketball at Asbury University. I grew up in and out of foster homes due to sexual abuse from my biological mother's boyfriends. It would be a lot of arguments and stuff, and that's how all it would be at first. It wasn't until she met my youngest sister's dad that the sexual abuse started to happen. And I think our neighbor had called social services and they showed up and then they took us away. I would go into the foster system and then she would get me and my 3 younger siblings back and then she'd lose us again. So every time I would come back home, it would be like that. My adopted dad became my best friend. He put me into basketball. And that was something we did all the time together. And I think basketball it finally gave me something that was my own. And I did get to share that with my dad. And he became the first male, grown man I could trust. And we did about everything together. We would go on trips together for basketball. I was very set on going to Western, but I tore my ACL my 7th game into my junior year, and then I just didn't want to play basketball anymore. I got into a really deep depression. I didn't really talk to anybody, and I didn't have any real friends at that high school that I was moved to. I graduated early, so I didn't have to go my senior year of school. So I took a year off of school and I worked with my dad at a night shift at Timberland. And that was really that whole year. And then 2 weeks before school, college was about to start for the fall, I contacted Chad Mays, who's the head coach of Asbury women's basketball. And I told him oh, I do want to play. Obviously, it's not been a great journey since I've been at Asbury. I had surgery multiple times on my leg, and I was cleared and uncleared, and it just seems like I could not stay in good health. My dad died last year, and it was definitely the worst thing that ever happened to me, even with everything that happened in my childhood. That was by far the worst thing to ever happen. Obviously, to this day, it doesn't get any easier. It's kind of how would my dad feel in this situation? What would he want me to do? Would he want me to just throw everything away that I worked hard for? Or would he want to see me succeed? I think basketball really helps. I was gonna quit when my dad died and just focus on work and school. But I think, like I said at the beginning, basketball was something that me and my dad shared, and the first thing that I ever had that I could call my own. So if I have one more, year to give, it just makes me feel closer to my dad, and knowing that he's up there, watching and still cheering me on, and I can still share that with him for one more year, then I decided that that's something that I wanted to do.
We want to thank Haley for allowing us to share her story. On Friday, she and her team will take the court in Wilmington, Ohio. They are facing Wilmington College for their next tournament. As I'm sure you have figured out by now, it is basketball season at Asbury, and thankfully for us at Epic, our staff is just littered with collegiate basketball players, and who better than Epic basketball analyst Haley Releford. Haley, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It was Jersey night, Wednesday at the Loose, and I know you guys were tuned in.
Ben McNew was a key in the season opener against Center. Here he is cashing in from downtown early, but it wasn't until later in the first half when McNew really popped off. Ben managed to make not one, not two, but 3 3-pointers in a row to help the Eagles come out of the first half with the lead.
Well, might as well just be Ben McBuckets at this point. Haley, go ahead and tell us what happened in the second half.
After just 4 points in the first half, Clayton Winter erupted with a 12-point second half performance, and he would finish the night as the Eagles' leading scorer with 16. And right behind him was Dakota Walden with 14 points of his own. The Eagles had 5 players with double-digit scoring and would conclude the night with a 72-63 win over the Colonels.
We know about the home opener against Center, and we'll hit on the men's most recent game later in the show. Haley, what do the guys need to do tonight in order to secure their second win of the season?
I definitely think the guys need to bring the same energy as they did against Center. They came out ready to play and proved just that, so we're looking for that same thing tonight.
Lastly, who do the guys need to look out for on the other team tonight, Haley?
Tonight they need to look out for 5'11 junior guard Trey Minter. He has scored over 20 points the past 2 games for Berea, and I don't see why he would lose that fire tonight.
Well, Haley, big shout out for you hanging out with us tonight in the studio. Asbury will tip off against Berea in just a couple of minutes. One of the key faces behind the men's win is head coach Will Schaus. Before getting into the action, we have reporter Alexis Jones bringing us more from the Loose. Alexis.
Thanks, Asa. I'm currently standing in the Loose gym where Coach Schaus will be later tonight as the men's basketball team takes on Berea College. Schaus is currently in his 16th year as head coach at Asbury, and in the 2022-23 season, he led the team to the highest winning percentage and best start to a season in school history. He became the winningest men's basketball coach in December 2021, and as of January, he's reached 300 career victories. Epic reporter Haley Releford had the chance to sit down with Coach Schaus and talk about this achievement. Let's take a look.
As of last season, head coach of men's basketball Will Schaus became the winningest coach in Asbury's school history.
You know, in the grand scheme of things, we don't, our wins aren't going to go on our tombstone. So, that doesn't really define me as a coach. But it is really special because I played here, and what's really cool is my son was on the team when I did it, and it was actually on. It was on the Ray Schaus game? Yeah. So the special game that we do for our son who passed away in 2015. We have a scholarship in his name. It was actually on the same day. So all those things, it was just that day was so special.
So this is the 6th year of the Ray Schaus Memorial Game, and it's Ray Scholarship money in his name to help students in need. So if you're looking at race,
Admiring Schaus's accomplishments is his biggest supporter on the team, his son.
Yeah, it's very special because I've been his biggest fan for the longest time. Every accomplishment that he's had, I've been there with him and just celebrated with him, and he's very humble.
A place where you work so hard as a player, and then this is my 16th year here, so I've seen a lot of players come through, and then to think of all the players that have helped us get those wins, and it's just, I'm one of those guys that likes to think about those memories. So
After over a decade of coaching the Eagles, Schaus had his most successful season to date, winning NCCAA Coach of the Year, and hopes to achieve more in his time here at Asbury. In Wilmore, Haley Releford, Epic Sports.
Schaus is looking to continue the men's home winning streak. With a season packed with D3 matchup, Schaus and his guys will face some good competition. Our cross-country team traveled to Warsaw, Indiana this past weekend to compete in the NCCAA National Tournament. Bailey Gassman had another top performance, placing second out of 55 runners, and became an NCCAA All-American as a freshman. She ended up leading the team to a third-place finish overall. Wes Preston led the team on the men's side, finishing in 21st place, which led their team to a 6th-place finish. Head coach Randy Christ was very proud of how his runners competed while Nationals concluded their 2023 season.
Our women's basketball team traveled to John Carroll University for the Winking Lizard Classic. The girls fell to John Carroll for their first game of the season, but they made a comeback win against Penn State Brent. Haleigh, Releford, Trinity Shearer, and Bree Jones were big contributors to the Eagles' first win of the season, all reaching double digits in the scoring column. The Eagles were very efficient on the defensive end with a total of 24 steals. Morgan Flannery and Trinity Shearer combined for 16 of those. They are now 1-1 and will travel to Wilmington, Ohio for their next classic this weekend.
The men's basketball team competed against Lipscomb for an exhibition matchup this past Saturday. The Eagles were able to put up 74 points, but eventually fell to the Division I team. They are looking to bounce back tonight against Berea.
With this being our last Epic Sports Show, we wanted to give you a bit of a peek behind the curtain.
Epic was created for a direct study by a group of 5 students. In just a little over 2 weeks, we created the show from start to finish with the hopes of bringing you a new and fun sports experience. We are joined by some awesome students like Rylan, Sevasti, Makayla, Malia, and Kevin, who have helped make this possible.
Each week, we have worked to feature a different sport before their home game, covered by ASDN. And before we record the show that you see and that you're seeing right now, we typically do a recorded run-through, and naturally, we have a couple of hiccups.
Yes, Maddie Heineman went through all of our shows and rundowns for some of our funniest moments. Let's take a look.
College, while keeping you informed between the two teams. I assume we're stopping.
The men's soccer.
Well, we have got to make our way down to the field for construction night. He intends to use his extra year to space out his classes and remain with his teams a bit longer. Good evening, I'm Asa Callow.
And I'm Spencer Harvey.
Welcome to Epic Sports. Former AU swimmer, Tanner Robar.
That meant Team Cartwright did groundwork for every night.
I'm going to play before you guys get against Union. My senior night? Yep. I don't think we're playing Union.
Shout out to our producer, Maddie Heineman, who was featured in Asa's creative package.
What a debut, Maddie.
Well, we are going to send you down.
Have a great day. We got to find an ending. No ending.
Oh, today was terrible. Last time we got it one take, no miss.
Last time was good. Okay.
And then today, well, we can't thank you enough to those who've watched every week.
Or to those who are watching for their first time tonight. We had so much fun bringing you your sports news and working with ASDN.
Stay tuned for the ASDN coverage of the men taking on Berea. It should be a great game. Thank you and good night.